They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President. The deep
I don't know what Constitution the deep state is dedicated to upholding, but it's certainly not our Constitution, the Constitution of these United States. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel, folks. We're still having trouble getting broadcasts out of Florida. My area is largely unaffected, especially compared to down south further. Again, prayers, thoughts, condolences, and great sadness for the destruction that has occurred. And that is shared, folks, by all of us. Now, the Democrats have decided to politicize a hurricane, folks. You are here. On the SHTF map, you are here, where we can have something this terrible, where thousands of people have lost their homes. Tens of thousands of people have been affected. Hundreds have been injured, and many, many, many deaths. The death toll is still not solid, but folks, it is a complete catastrophe. It's an emergency. It's horrifying. And the Democrats want to say that Governor DeSantis caused this hurricane to happen. Oh, you heard me right. Democrats have politicized a hurricane and said it's actually the fault of Governor DeSantis and Republicans. Can you believe that? We're getting blamed for a hurricane? The governor, who had, folks, an unbelievable response from private industry and other state governments in getting down here, preparing, lining up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of service vehicles, trucks, ambulances, personnel to go in and address this problem before it happened. Unlike the federal government, which during Hurricane Katrina came in days late, and wouldn't allow other people to come in and help, while they committed all acts of unholy violence and nastiness. Folks, this is incredible what the Democrats are doing. You are here right now. Now, I want to go a little further, and I want to tell everyone who wants to help people in Florida here, find good charity to work through. Right? Good charity. In fact, at theRsyndicate.com, Uman has put up some recommendations there. And, you know, the people down here, down south a little further, are going to need lots of help. Don't just haphazardly drive down here. Have a plan. Know who it is you're going to help and where, and then try and work with local emergency authorities to find out where you're allowed and not, and how you can help, and how, you know, you may be one of thousands trying to help in one area and overloading it. So yes, and if you're going to go down, understand you need your own food, water, shelter, clothing, etc., medicine, medications, first aid kits, because you could become a casualty of this just by having an accident down here. So please be prepared, be understanding, and I want to thank you ahead of time for all the generosity that you, the Prepared Mind Network, have shown me, Florida, and America. Now, folks, where are we at? Well, we're in shit hitting the fan, right? Florida isn't the only emergency that this country is suffering. And it isn't the only emergency that's been politicized. Folks, our southern border is just a complete disaster because of the Democrats, Joe Biden, and their unwillingness to stop that emergency, right? We have flooding in Florida. We have flooding in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. Just an absolute flood of illegals pouring over our border and deluging upon the country. Oh, they get 50 in Chicago, 50 in New York, 50 in Martha's Vineyard, and they want to start crying that it's a humanitarian crisis and they can't handle it, and they bust them out faster than the speed of light. Yeah, folks, you are here. And I want to let you know also, you're in this place as well. Iranian revolutionaries have taken up arms against the Iranian regime. Yes, it is a theocracy, a religious government, and there's revolutionaries now fighting it. Folks, understand, this is an insurrection if we go by Democrat definitions. The government has begun arresting journalists, those that are speaking up against the government. The Iranian regime has started arresting celebrities who support protests, and they're charging them with inciting violence and riot. Why didn't the government charge Maxine Waters and Kamala Harris and other Democrats and celebrities who supported and encouraged inciting violence and riot on the part of BLM and Antifa back in 2020? Now, over in Iran, they've turned off the internet so the government can maintain control. And the Iranian men have started taking up arms and using Molotov cocktails, that is, gasoline bombs, to fight against the regime troops. Molotov cocktails. That sounds a lot like Antifa and BLM when they took up arms and threw rocks and bottles and bricks and flaming bombs and using lasers against police in America in 2020. Now, the Islamic Republic's authorities are saying that they have attacked the terrorists, right? Now, understand this, folks. Understand this. The United States government is like, oh, yeah, Iran, bad. Look at all the bad things they do, right? Yeah, this is okay. This is a good thing to have revolution over there. And folks, the Mojahideen, the People's Mojahideen, in other words, the People's War, Revolutionary War, or freedom fighters, claim that the revolution has spread to 164 cities in all 31 Iranian provinces. That is, their counties, right? Over 300 people have been killed, they claim, and over 15,000 have been arrested, says the Mojahideen. Now, Iran has accused the United States of using protests triggered by the death of a woman who was in police custody. They're saying the U.S. is using that to destabilize Iran and warned that it would not go without a response from them. Now, what that response is, I have no idea. But here we have another similarity. Iran's accusing the U.S. of using protests triggered by the death of a woman in police custody. George Floyd was in police custody when he died of a drug overdose. But still, that was used to protests or to trigger protests that spread across our whole nation. Without a doubt, folks, the U.S. government is fomenting these protests, right? But oh no, they would never push for a revolution, just some protests, right? How many color revolutions, how many Benghazis, and how many coups d'etats has the CIA done around the world? And if, by the way, if a revolt started in the U.S., would our government respond the same as the Iranian government has? Which has sparked just howls that the Iranian government is violating their human rights and their right to free speech. Really, right? Really. Violent beatings in America for protesting on January 6th? Check. Trampling by horses in Canada? Check. Chemical agents used by police forces on January 6th? Check. Rubber bullets? Check. Flashbang grenades? Check. Arresting anyone and everyone that are political opponents? Check. Check, check, and check. At January 6th, January 6th organizers, supporters, anyone who was near Washington, D.C. arrested. President Trump harassed, raided. Trump supporters having their phones, their homes raided, being arrested, being harassed, being accused. Does that sound like a free government, a fair government? Does that sound like the Constitution is in play? Right? How about lying about the opposition and using media to push the lies to every ear in the country? That would be our mainstream media and our government. Calling a protest an insurrection, right? And then lying to other nations through the media for sympathy. Check, check, and check. Suspending the Constitution and laws to keep control at any cost. Oh, there's a big check mark. No protesting if you're a Republican, right? No talking about Jim Jones Jews. No talking about Cerveza-Bug. No. You won't be talking about that. Your rights to free speech, free movement are done. You will take the mandated government garbage or else, right? You can't protest. No free speech. They're going after the Second Amendment. Suspending constitutional laws to keep control of us. Yeah, that's our government. And then murdering their own citizens to keep power. That's what Iran has done, yeah? Oh, how about the United States of America? That's right, folks. Even in our nation's capital, the most hallowed ground, supposedly, of this country, so hallowed that anyone protesting there for Republican ideals is just an evil bastard. Well, the police murdered 3 Americans there. 2 were beaten to death and trampled. 1 was shot. Folks, countries, right, are all the same once tyranny starts. Whether it's Iran or Nazi Germany, whether it's Russian communists or in colonial America, or even Democratic Policy Party America. They have the same plans, the same goals, the same methods. That is, claim that they're the victim and they have to keep power, and that anyone opposing them is a terrorist. While they foment this type of action around the world, and indeed, in the summer of love, 2020, our government did the same thing, folks. They supported protests, and then they arrested Americans in January 6th, 2 years later, for doing just that, peacefully protesting and inciting violence among them when their agents went on board. Folks, that's where we are. You are here in SHTF. You are here in the world. You are here right now. 0 dark 30. Oh, it's cold and it's dark in America in a lot of places. You are the solution. You are the answer. Being free, demanding your liberties, your rights, your Constitution be respected. That is the way out of this. Having food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense. That is how you will be prepared when this gets even darker here. I'll see you tonight for the Free for All Friday. Chance favors the prepared mind. God bless America. Godspeed to those in need. I'll see you soon.